Good afternoon, everyone. It's Phil Grant with Baird and Warner, welcoming you to another edition of the Real Estate Minute. This is, as you know by now, where we talk about all things real estate, be it buying, be it selling, be it leasing, residential, commercial, really the whole gambit, the whole spectrum of real estate issues, really in the hopes of helping you to make a better, more informed decision when real estate matters come up in your world. We hope that this spring day finds you and your loved ones safe and healthy and well. You know, we're in kind of a crazy real estate market at this time, and a term that you will hear and see frequently is the word contingent. Oftentimes you'll see the letters CTG, as you can see up on the old whiteboard behind me, which simply means that there is a contingent offer on the deal. What does that really mean? It means that we've got a ready, willing, and able buyer that has gotten together through their realtors with a ready, willing, and able seller in order to put this deal together. However, there are some contingencies that have to be met before the deal can close. They're broken down into different categories. The first one you'll see behind me on the old whiteboard is the home inspection contingency. In the state of Illinois, we have 5 business days once we have a fully executed contract to get our home inspection done and have the attorney that you choose take a look at the deal to make sure that everything is proper. So again, very, very important to choose a good licensed home inspector to take a good look at the home. A few years ago, we changed the contract because people were just being too frivolous for what they were asking for during the home inspection. So now it really says it's covering major components and health and safety issues. Another very important thing to keep in mind with the home inspection is those major components, if they are deemed to be working properly, even though they are towards the end of the life, that will not kill the contract. So we have to be very, very mindful when we do the home inspection, and we have to be mindful about what that home inspection report says, keeping in mind that most of the time, the home is not going to be perfect. There are going to be issues. Obviously, the older the property, the more, generally speaking, issues you will have. So what you need as the buyer to do is to take a look at those and say, okay, number one, should I ask the seller to remedy any of those inspection issues? That can be a little bit dicey in the market that we're in, being as robust as it is, being as competitive as it is. You have to think long and hard about that. Number two, if I'm not going to ask them to remedy it, do I have the funds? How much is it going to cost to take care of it? What's the time frame that I want to take care of these issues in? And then, what is it indeed going to cost me to do that? So home inspection, the attorney approval time, very, very important, and you need to keep those things in mind during their home inspection. And again, these contingencies are really put into the contract to protect both sides, primarily, I think, more so on the buyer's end than the seller's, in order for the buyer to complete their due diligence process. And if something isn't right, they can back out without losing their earnest money. The second one you see up on the old whiteboard behind me is appraisal. Now, rather than being spelled out in the contract, this, generally speaking, is going to come into play in the letters that the attorneys pass back and forth to one another. Typically speaking, you might see something in an attorney letter saying that if the home does not appraise out, then my buyer can walk away. Today, again, given the craziness of the market, we are seeing appraisal gap addendums. And basically what those say is that you as the buyer are telling the seller that, okay, well, I've agreed to pay you $500,000 for the home. If it only appraises out at $450,000, I'm willing to kick in the additional money in order to get the mortgage. Obviously, you need to be very careful at that point that indeed you have those funds available to you. And this is obviously a very, very important part. The mortgage appraisal, or the mortgage contingency, I should say, is indeed listed in your contract. And that says that if you cannot get a firm commitment for a mortgage from your lender, what we call a clear to close, by X date, that you can walk away. You certainly are in a position to ask for an extension. You can certainly ask for that. But if they will not grant you the extension, you can walk away and get your money back. A Couple of other contingencies that are in the contract. The first one is a home sale contingency. The home sale says that you as the buyer are telling the seller, okay, we have a home that we want to sell, we want to buy your home, and we will buy your home as long as we can sell it by X date. And again, a lot of sellers are not entertaining these offers these days because they would prefer to work with a non-home sale contingent buyer. The final one down on the bottom is a home close contingency, and that one basically says that, okay, we'd like to buy your home, we have a home that's under contract, but we need to close that deal by X date in order to consummate the deal on your home. And certain sellers will indeed entertain that more so than they will entertain a home sale contingency. Now, does contingent mean that absolutely the deal is done and that your hopes of getting that home are gone completely? Not necessarily. Sometimes backup offers are taken. That is happening more and more these days. So just because you can see those CTG letters up there doesn't necessarily mean that all hope is lost. Again, keep in mind that all those criteria have to be satisfied before that deal gets done. If you or someone you know needs to buy a property, reach out to the old real estate problem solver at 815-788-2198. We will get to work. If you or someone you know has property that needs to get sold, this is a marvelous time to do it. Reach out to the old real estate problem solver at 815-788-2198 and we will get to work. Thanks for taking a few minutes to watch. Hopefully this clears up that whole contingency thing for you. Got any questions, reach out to me and I'll be glad to help. Take care of yourself. We'll talk to you soon.